Hi everyone, it's Crystal, and today I'm doing a video response for Katie, who is Fairy Tale Crafts here on YouTube. She's hosting a challenge giveaway, and she was wanting some tips and advice on copic coloring. So, Katie, this officially is not my entry into your giveaway. I just did this as a video response for you. I just have a couple tips, I guess, to maybe help you out with your copic coloring. So this is not my official video. I plan on doing another video for you, officially for your channel, to show you how I do my coloring. But I wanted to do this one to maybe help you out a little bit. I'm new to copic coloring as well. I've only been doing this about 10 months now, so I'm pretty new, and I know when I started with this I was having some problems with my coloring and blending and everything. So I figured I'd just put together this video for you, excuse me, to hopefully help you out. Hopefully some kind of information I give you in this video will help you. So, my first thing I want to tell you about is, I don't know if you've subscribed to these two channels, but my favorite channel that I learned how to do my copic coloring is Amy R., who is Prairie Paper and Ink here on YouTube. She has many videos on there with copic coloring. She does all different kind of coloring with like Prismacolor pencils and Copics. And yeah, I really enjoy watching her channels, and she shows you in some of her older videos how she does her coloring. So if you haven't checked her channel out already, I would really check her channel out, because she does have some good videos on there. Actually, she has a lot of good videos. And then the other one is Jennifer McGuire. I've followed her blog and her YouTube channel, and I've gotten some of my inspiration and techniques from her channel as well. Alright, so again, I'm going to say this. By far, I am no expert. I have never taken a class on Copics or nothing. This is just me picking up the markers, practicing, and experimenting, and this is what I came up with. So, second of all, what I wanted to say was, thank you very much for sharing what your beginning stages were with your Copics, your first two images. They are honestly not that bad. It takes practice, as long as with anything we do. We have to practice. I'm sure you're familiar with the saying, practice makes perfect. And, you know, in this case here, practicing really does help. The more you practice, the better you get. You know, we're not perfect. We're human. Of course, we're going to, you know, make mistakes, and this ain't going to be blended right, or there's going to be something missing here. We're only human. We aren't no machine coloring these images. You know, we're computer printing these images out. We're coloring them. So, I mean, give yourself a break and just enjoy this process, because it really is fun once you actually start coloring better. It is very enjoyable. But I was like you when I first started this. People made it look so easy here on YouTube. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I got this under control. Okay, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to show you my first images that I started with. So when I started coloring, you know, your typical image is about this size. These are digital images I purchased from All That Scraps. And when I printed these out, I was like, there is no way. Now, guys, this is just my opinion. There is no way. Whoops, wrong side. That I'm going to come up here closer. That this tip, am I going to get 3 colors in this little area to get these blended? I was very intimidated by this. While this tip is very small, it's still, in comparison to this, it's huge. I mean, I don't really know how else to say this, but this was very intimidating for me. So, here's what I did. I took these images and I blew them up. Literally, I really did. I made them this size. So, they went from, you know, being this size to this size. Okay, so here's my very first one I did. and it's terrible, but you know, and I saved these because it was just really nice. Now I went back and looked at these today and I was like, wow, you know, I have came a long way from this image, but you know, I'm not no expert. I can always, there's always room for improvement, but I came a long way. And I don't like to say that, you know, I don't like to make myself sound better at anything, but I'm no better than nobody, but I have came a long way. So these were all I did 6 images the first night I got these Copics. So here's my first one. Here's my second one. And let me tell you what, by the time I ended this, and I always write my colors down here on the side now. That night, by the time I got done with these, I was so disgusted because I was like, these images are terrible. You know, how are people coloring? But I just practice, and I've gotten better. So these are the first ones I did the very first night I got my Copics. So I figure since you shared yours, I'll share mine. Alright. So, let me tell you. When I buy my Copics, I use my color chart here. Which, if you haven't done this, and I'm sure you've probably seen a video about this color chart thing. If you haven't done this already, I really suggest you do this because it's a great way to keep track of all your colors. And what you have, you know, so you're not buying doubles. Because at the price of Copics, they're not cheap. To buy doubles is pretty pricey. I buy my Copics from Uzak.com. They're $4.94 or $4.96 a marker. And if you order $50 or more, you get free shipping. If you know of anywhere it's cheaper than that, please leave me know. But that's the cheapest I found them so far. Well, currently right now. I don't know if you wanted information about that, but I just figured I'd tell you. So when I buy my Copics, I try to always buy in groups of 3. So as you can see here, the BV02, BV04, and BV08, I purchased these all together. When you purchase them in groups of 3s, I usually do 3 to 4, sometimes maybe a little bit more, they blend a lot easier. So for an example, where am I at here? These here, RV 10, 11, and 13. When you color with these, they blend well together because they're very close in the color family. So that's a tip for you. That's what I've learned. Let me see what else. I'm trying to think here. There's so much I wanted to say and I forgot. Another thing, like I have go-tos. Like these are my go-to colors for my skin tones. I usually always use E000, E11, E51, and R20 for the blush, for the cheeks. So like these are my go-to colors for my skin tone. When I do blondish color hair, currently right now, these are my go-to colors. Y21, YR21, YR23, and E33. So I just have like my go-tos for certain things. Another thing that I've really learned with this is that paper makes the difference. The better quality paper you have, the better your images are, your coloring is going to blend and just look so much better. So, when I started out, I had purchased paper from Michaels. Okay. Now, these next ones I'm going to show you, if you go to my blog at crystalscreativespot.blogspot.com, I have a blog post about these papers. You can see the pictures a lot better. This is the paper I originally started out with. This paper from Michaels, I paid like $15 and got like 200 sheets or something like that. And I thought this was really good cardstock when I started out. You know, I'm like, wow, $15. This, you know, this is real good cardstock. It's terrible. I hate it. My colors, my paper, the ink bleeds outside my image. It doesn't blend very well. So I wouldn't recommend that paper. If anyone's bought it from Michaels, you know, it's not good for this. This is Georgia Pacific cardstock from Walmart. I do like this. It's like $6, I think, for a whole ream of it. I do like this cardstock for practicing. When I practice coloring, I always practice on this paper here. When I go to do my actual project, you know, coloring for my project, I go to my better paper. But for practicing, this cardstock works great. My favorite cardstock for Copic coloring is the Copic Expressive paper. I don't know, this cardstock is very slick. It's very smooth, but it blends so perfectly on this cardstock. It's unbelievable. I really, really like this cardstock a lot. So this is my favorite. My favorite's Copic. My second favorite is the Paper Tray ink. They sell, it's called Stamper Select. You get 40 sheets for $6. This is my second favorite. Copic coloring on this cardstock, for me, again, this is just my opinion, is really good. It blends really nice. So this is my second favorite. My third favorite is cardstock from CC Designs, and this is sold on allthatscraps.com. And it blends really nice on this one too. So this is my third favorite. And my fourth one is Nina Solar White cardstock. Everybody raves about how they really, really like this cardstock. And it is, don't get me wrong, it is good cardstock. But in my opinion, for the price you pay for this, I would much rather get the Paper Tray ink. Yeah, so I mean, it does blend really nice. I mean, all the reviews you heard about it is true. It does blend really nice. It's really nice to work with. But, so, those are some of the papers that I work with. And in my opinion, the better paper you have, the better your coloring's going to look, because it just blends and so much easier. So that's my biggest helpful hint, hopefully, for you, is to invest in some good cardstock. I had just gradually over time just bought like a pack from this company, a pack from that company, a little pack from this company, and then finally, once I got all the ones I wanted to try, I just sat down and played around with them one night and really got to see the difference between them. So let me see, there's something else I want to tell you about too. Oh, so because I'm so new to Copic coloring, what I do is, when I'm working with an image I've never worked with or colored before, I take and I stamp it out a bunch of times on a piece of cardstock, my practice cardstock. So that would be the Georgia Pacifics from Walmart. And I just stamp my image out a couple times, and then I just practice coloring with my markers. Then after I do that, after I get done and have the, you know, like the color combos close to what I want it to be, and I'm happy with the way my image is turned out, then what I do is I go and I cut out my good piece of cardstock. So this is my Paper Tray ink cardstock, and then I practice one more time on my good cardstock, because it blends so much better than off of my cheaper cardstock. So then what I do is I write all my color combos up that I used for the project, and then I just store this with like all my other images or with my stamp, and then I just put it away. But then I'll use this for, like, when I go to color, this is what I'm going to be coloring for my official entry into your challenge. This is the image I'm going to be coloring, so then I could just look off of this one here to make sure, like, you know, how my outlining and things like that turned out. So, I know I practice a lot. You know, I mean, I stamped this image out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I stamped the little girl out 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then I did the fence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Well, 6 and 5. So I stamped the little girl out 5 times and the fence out 6 times. But again, this has taken me a few hours to do all this. But, I mean, my end result, you can see, you know, from this one here to this one here. So it's a big difference, in my opinion. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Katie, I hope this helped you out. If it didn't, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time. But I hope something I said helped you out. I do plan on officially entering your challenge. I'm going to color up this little girl again. And, yeah. So, until next time, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And, Katie, good luck with your Copic coloring. Bye, everybody.